For both of you. You guys look fantastic.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Cool. I hope it. I think it looks good.
Yeah.
And,
The cake looks great.
I thought the cake turned out nice. Yeah. I thought it did too. I was not. I always worry about the little things like that and the way the chairs are set up and stuff like that. But
It looks good.
yeah.
It's all come together.
And your patient's name is. I'm not going to name her, but she's here, right?
She asked if she could come, and I don't see her yet.
She's in the back, isn't she? That's not her in the back by the entrance. Water? You want a water? So good afternoon, everyone. I won't talk about my military background, but it's 12:31, and we said we were starting at 12:30. I'm already getting nervous and sweating a little bit. So welcome all of you, ladies and gentlemen, class of 2025, all of those in the virtual world, family members, teaching faculty, preceptors, nurses, administrators, mentors, friends, and I happen to know there's at least one patient cared for by these residents in the audience. Welcome to our graduation ceremony. First, I want to thank the music for being so loud that I feel like I need to hum a tune. If someone could ask them to turn that down just a little bit. My name is Mark Higdon. It's a great honor to get to stand before you as the program director of these stellar graduates. To paraphrase the Apple CEO in the past, Steve Jobs, a few times in life we might be fortunate to work on something truly revolutionary, something to cherish, something that matters. For me, this residency matters, and your education matters. I represent dozens of team members who have poured their time, knowledge, and love in the graduates that you see before you. We do cherish the work because we know the outcome, and we see it sitting here. I'm also honored to pay tribute and recognize the hard work of the newly minted class of board-certified physicians as they've journeyed this map that has many twists and turns, but it leads to the display of success that you see today. The path that they've followed would not have been possible without the unwavering support of our incredible Novant Health CEO, Mr. Carl Armato. He's our president and chief executive officer. And I will tell you, every time that I spoke to Carl in the last 11 years, the first thing he always asked me is, what do you need? He encourages and inspires our entire team. And we do the very best we can to try to pursue our cause daily, and I know the residents do this, create a healthier future and bring remarkable experiences to life, like this one. It's not lost on me or the graduates how really sweet it is to reflect about our family members and the many loved ones and mentors who have contributed and sacrificed, and still coming in, to allow a day like today to happen. Important along the journey are names such as mom, dad, brothers, sisters, children, significant others, and specifically, and for this group, I'm going to ask you to do something that you probably won't want to do, but if I call out your name, I want you to stand up. Sarah, Kim, Aquivia, Kathy, Michelle, Donna, Rachel, Kadisha, Valerie, Denise, Lexi, Angie, Ellery, Zeddy, and Cindy. If anyone is wondering, those are the names of our incredible nurses, administrators, and clinical faculty who make our residency clinic and program happen. Many, many times. They make it happy too. You're our bedrock, you're our support, and you're the reason we achieved success. And I thank you for the many contributions you made. In the next 20 minutes or so, a long journey comes to an end for these graduates, a journey that probably started 23 years ago in elementary school. A journey filled with laughter, tears, countless exams, board certifications, highs, lows, a worldwide pandemic, and finally, a day of recognition representing a job well done. A journey that gives each innovative physician leader here an opportunity to spend the next few decades not only testing rashes, aches, pains, completing physical exams, sports physical along the way, prescription refills, but also the opportunity to provide hope. Hope for those afflicted with illness and injury, and also an opportunity to provide strength for those facing life-altering news or decisions. And equally important, you provide comfort, essential comfort for those in the final moments of their life or a loved one's life. Truly being a family physician is a calling whose essence we strive to capture in each graduation ceremony. Recently, I received a late-night text from one of our current residents who participated in the final moments of someone's life in the early morning hours at Novant Health Huntersville Medical Center. They provided comfort to a family as they received the news that their loved one had died. And then that evening, that same resident delivered a baby to a family that she had followed throughout the pregnancy. I think that example perfectly personifies the point I'm trying to make, that providing hope, strength, and comfort are all components of remarkable care, and it's something that I can personally attest each of these graduates deliver with consistency and grace. I do want to acknowledge those of us here in person, and I've met some of you already, and virtually, some of you that might have helped these people perhaps monetarily along the way, or personally you supported them during those 23 years of higher education, car insurance, things like that. And if during this ceremony, if you feel the need to let out a big yell, maybe a thumbs up with both hands or something to that effect, please do so. As a new empty nester with 3 boys, we understand. I'm going to highlight some of the amazing things that these graduates have done during their 3 years at Novant. In addition to spending the 1,095 days training with us, that's 3 years and days if you're curious. We focus on leadership, ambulatory care, wellness, and practice management. The 6 before you were initially selected from a pool of more than 500 that wanted to come here. During their time here, they've done 10,000 outpatient clinic visits, 1,500 emergency and inpatient visits, over 2,500 procedures, 234 clinical rotations, and between them, they delivered over 100 babies. They have truly done a remarkable job, and recently the teaching faculty and I unanimously recommended that they all graduate. And the way our board works, they recently all took their board certification and passed with 100%. Listen to it, yeah, give them that, that's a round of applause. Their collective average on that exam was 593. Doesn't mean anything, right? That's 210 points past what they needed to become board certified. I think that speaks to their excellence. And they do personify the very best qualities of patient care, medical knowledge, system-based practice, practice-based learning improvement, interpersonal communication skills, and professionalism. That sounds like a long, specific list, but that's the way we grade them. They are courageous, they're compassionate, they work well in a team. And I challenge each of them to yearn for excellence in all their endeavors going forward. Provide an active voice to bridge the gap for healthcare inequities and insecurity. Be the change that we all need. And always, always endeavor to inspire more than you require. Maddie, Lauren, Andrew, Ola, Molly, and Emily, always remember life is sweet, life is amazing, and life is truly remarkable. You've endured many things during your time here, the Yeti, the banana split, slide, and you remember in the future that the word stressed really is just desserts spelled backwards. Sorry to the audience, but those are all insider jokes that they had to listen to for 3 years. But more seriously, know that in my 25 years of teaching family physicians, I can confidently say that each of you are ready for the next chapter of life. We eagerly attested, and we believe it now, that you can function as an autonomous family physician in accordance with our American Board of Family Medicine national accreditation standards. In the future, when we, perhaps as your patients, seek hope, strength, or comfort, we will remember you, and as I told you before, you are truly remarkable ready. And now, without further ado, we're going to get the graduation started. It gives me distinct pleasure to welcome to the podium Dr. Sid Fletcher, who is one of our senior vice presidents at Novant Health and the president of our Novant Health Charlotte region. In my nearly 11 years of knowing Dr. Fletcher, he's also a board-certified ER physician. He has provided unwavering support of medical education as we established this family medicine program and beyond. In 11 years, he's never missed a graduate medical education meeting. And when he first showed up, I was like, I can't believe he's coming to this. So Dr. Fletcher and the entire Novant team provide a constant example of leadership, professionalism, and grace that serves to enhance the education of literally the hundreds of learners that pass through our Novant doors daily. So without further ado, Dr. Fletcher.
Thank you so much, Dr. Higdon. I really appreciated just being part of what I would say is a foundational and platinum residency program, the first within our region, and it's just been amazing to be part of it. So good afternoon to our graduating residents, their families and loved ones, and certainly our amazing faculty and all the guests here today. I am Dr. Sid Fletcher, and I currently serve as the president of Novant Health's Charlotte region. Mark mentioned my background. I'm a ER physician, and I practiced here in Charlotte with Novant Health for about 20 years before I took on this full-time administrative work. Sorry, I'm just a suit now, right? But it really is my honor to stand here before you today to really celebrate the remarkable achievements of you, our family medicine residents who have completed training. I've had the pleasure, as Mark mentioned, to serve on the Graduate Medical Education Committee for a number of years, and what I have to say is what I've witnessed has made me immensely proud of Dr. Higdon, Dr. Lawrence, and certainly the entire teaching faculty that have provided what I would call a truly unique training experience that I know each of you will take with you every day of your ongoing careers. And talk about the scores. The scores are always amazing, and you've achieved it yet again. Well done. We always knew that was going to come. But even more importantly, we know that here at Novant Health, you're immersed in caring for patients and families with compassion and integrity. Recently, I was reflecting on my own residency graduation and thinking back to those times about the work that went into that, the challenges that went into it, but also that we had so many amazing great times, and I'm sure that's true of you all as well. The year I graduated, Dolly the sheep was cloned, and the movie Titanic came out. You could say I was the king of the world. But that actually wasn't yesterday, but I really do understand the journey that you all have been on and the dedication that it's taken to reach this point. So I do want to take a moment to just acknowledge the noble profession that you've chosen. I still believe in my heart that of all the careers that you may have chosen and things that you could have done with your life as incredibly high achievers, the practice of medicine has perhaps the most profound impact on your fellow citizens and communities. You've worked incredibly hard, you've pursued an important, purposeful career, and you've shown resilience, dedication, and compassion. In short, you have what it takes. So as you move forward with your careers, remember to stay true to your values that you brought with you, and I know that each of you will make an incredibly positive impact on the communities that you land in. For me, it was close to where my residency program was, and I'm hoping that that's true of you all as well. I know for some of you, you're right close to home here with Novant Health. And certainly, thank you for allowing me the time, Mark, to speak today and reflect. And again, congratulations to all of you graduates.
So thank you, Dr. Fletcher, not just for your ever-present mentorship and the support, but also please know how much your friendship matters to me, and it's been there all 11 years that I've been here, so thank you. Next, I think you're in for a treat. I am going to introduce to you our graduation speaker who was asked by the graduating class to address you today. Dr. Cecile Robet is an osteopathic family physician who graduated from the Michigan State University College of Osteopathic Medicine and completed her residency at Western University St. Luke's Hospital in Tempe, Arizona. With over 30 years of experience, her specialties include preventative care, geriatrics, HIV care, and transgender care. At Novant Health, she serves as our Director of Osteopathic Education. In her spare time, Dr. Robet enjoys spending time with her niece and nephew, also outdoors biking, hiking, and walking with her sweet dog. Also at our recent Novant Health Academic Summit, Dr. Robet was selected by the residents as the Family Medicine Teacher of the Year. It is my distinct honor to welcome Dr. Cecile Robet to the podium.
I'm a little troll-sized here. Well, thank you. I'm not sure what to say. I will tell you I won't belabor the point. My Spanx has a resiliency limit, so we'll just get on with it. So just hello and welcome to everyone in the Novant Health Family Medicine Residency graduation of 2025. I do want to remind you I am the least important person in this room and have a rather prehistoric view of medicine. Instead, we are here to celebrate these 6 extraordinary graduating family physicians: Dr. Madeline Cutrone-Akamatsu, Dr. Lauren Griffin, Dr. Andrew James, Dr. Alexandra Kamenecki. Did I say that right? I hope. All last 3 years I've not been saying it right, I'm pretty sure. Dr. Molly Lerner and Dr. Emily Valentin Mendez. So over the last 3 years, I've really had the privilege of seeing how they are so brilliant of mind, they're generous of heart, and really deeply committed to the soul of medicine. I'm seriously honored to be in the same room with all these gifted physicians. In fact, I'm certain I've learned more from them than they have learned from me over the last 3 years. So yes, Dr. Higdon told you who I was. I'm Cecile Robet. 30 years ago, I too, that's a long time, I know, I too sat as a graduating resident from family medicine from St. Luke's program. This was in Tempe, Arizona. I graduated from medical school, Michigan State College of Osteopathic Medicine. I've been in medical education for about 22 years in different capacities: program director, osteopathic director, faculty, but most importantly as a pupil. And I would have to say these past years, much like the ocean, it can be vast, mysterious, and ever-changing, where momentary calm can be punctuated by violent storms, especially in our clinic. Medicine, too, is boundless, perpetually shifting, and profound. So, however, with these graduates, I have no misgivings about their medical prowess whatsoever. Whatever complex patient they encounter, and it may feel at times like the ocean, very vast, very choppy, very unpredictable, they have the skill, the resolve, and the resourcefulness to stay afloat and steer true. In 30 years of practice and nearly 60 years of life, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. There's not enough Botox in the world. The only meager wisdom I can impart is that the lives we live beyond the clinic are really the true tide, capable of sweeping us from shore, pulling us off balance, and leaving us treading water in unfamiliar seas. And in such moments, when the tide is high and the current is strong, Is this a Blondie song? We all need something to steady us. I'm not going to sing Blondie. And that's where the anchor comes in. So I wanted to give you a quick definition of an anchor. This is a device or person that can hold fast or check motion and can be relied upon for support, stability, security, or protection from tumult. For those of you who are experienced in aquatic adventures, you know it's not necessarily the weight of the anchor that's the most important, but its ability to keep you grounded, centered, and secure, no matter how strong the current or how far from shore you drift. Sometimes it's the smallest, most unassuming anchor that keeps us afloat and makes us stay on course. So my advice to you is find your anchor. In 1970, at 5 years old, I returned from my mom's rural Italian village with a souvenir nobody wanted: typhoid fever. So what is that? That's fever, jaundice, diarrhea, vomiting, and dehydration, which landed me in the hospital. Like, who gets typhoid fever in 1970 America? I mean, really, it's not 1870, it's 1970. My family was quarantined at home, but I was locked in a hospital cage. And when I say cage, literally. It was a cage that was latched on the top with bars, and it was created to stop me, my rambunctious little self, from sparking a citywide epidemic, which I probably could have. So you need to picture like hazmat-suited nurses and doctors. They would slide food in, they would perform evaluations and blood draw. 2 weeks. So I went full mad monkey, right? I'm like screaming and rattling the cage, and I'm trying in a fervent bid for freedom to get out, which I couldn't. But a compassionate young nurse, she was so amazing. She saw my despair, and she permitted a fellow child from the pediatric ward to kind of hang out outside the door and kind of engage me in a little bit of play. And I will never forget the kindness that she had for this child who the whole hospital was just thrown off guard because who gets typhoid fever, and are we going to get this, and then is all of Dearborn and Michigan going to get it? But I can't imagine what this kid must have told her parents the next day about the caged kid in the hospital. So find your anchor. When you embark on your family medicine residency journey, the culmination of many years of sacrifice and study, and you do so with the steady presence of someone who has moored you through every storm. Maybe perhaps for the last 26 years, they've been your unwavering champion, your compass, your anchor. And then suddenly, that anchor is torn from you, ravaged by cancer's merciless talons. How do you sail on when a tsunami of grief threatens to engulf and submerge you? Yet, even in the wake of such profound loss, we are called to seek out new anchors, those people, passions, principles that steady us when the waves rise again. Find your anchor. In 1977, when you're in 7th grade, with hair and breasts that occupied 2 zip codes, you are so desperate to have model eyebrows instead of the woolly caterpillars that nap on your forehead. Because of course, middle school guys are way interested in your eyebrows and not your Dolly Parton rack. So impetuously, you decide that you just want to shave down your eyebrows a little bit. Not everybody's going to look at my eyebrows. But you want to shave down your eyebrows, but you actually end up shaving them off completely. So thankfully, I chose to look like a syphilitic Mona Lisa the night before school pictures. Like the night before school pictures. And to top it off, the day of pictures, I managed to wear this overly snug black sweater that had little pom-poms awkwardly placed. 5 minutes before pictures, thank God for my friend Linda, thank God for her. She pities me, and she's like, let's go draw on some eyebrows with mascara. And she cuts off all the pom-poms on the sweater. She saved my life from chronic middle school derision. Linda and I have been friends over 50 years now, so she's one of my anchors. But I encourage you, find your anchor. When you've poured your soul into sculpting impeccable form, embracing the relentless discipline demanded by your sport and your career, you forge ahead. You temper your body and mind to a pinnacle of perfection. Through tempests of criticism and torrents of doubt that threaten to overwhelm you, you chart your course undaunted. You endure the searing pain when your body falters, but your mind, your anchor of resolve and purpose, whispers that this odyssey has only just begun. It is this inner anchor forged in silence and solitude that holds you steady when the world offers no applause. Find your anchor. When you are in a very competitive pre-med curriculum in undergrad at the University of Michigan, I don't know how many of you had to suffer through organic chemistry, but back in the day, when we didn't have phones, you had to bring your own molecular organic chemistry kits, and they came in a box. And it was the organic chemistry final. And what these kits are, they're like tiny Legos. They're like little pieces of, they're little round balls and little triangles and all this. They look like Legos, literally. And basically your job is to take these kits and create your own existential crisis right there in the middle of a timed exam. The auditorium, of course, is angled downward, and the seat in front of you is about an eyelash breadth away from you. So with time running out and I've got this giant molecule on my lap, of course it starts to slip, and I lunge forward and I headbutt the seat in front of me. Yep, so organic chemistry Legos, like molecular confetti, go flying all over the auditorium. And I just have to thank Professor Adler, because you knew we were all pre-med gunners, and you took the time away from proctoring to ensure I'd collected all my molecules, there must have been millions, and that my frontal lobotomy wasn't fatal. You gave me the confidence to continue to be a pre-med gunner, although I did look like a Klingon for, I don't know, it was like 3 weeks. Anyway, find your anchor. When the wind is in your sails and the sun beams brightly and the passage is clear, unsuspecting, the tempest gathers. In an instant, you are called to hold fast, navigating a maelstrom's fury. It seeks to unmoor your resolve. Across the seas, a loved one lies wounded on a distant shore, and yet it is their silent strength, their enduring presence in your heart that becomes your anchor, steadying your hands on the rudder, guiding you through the storm's unyielding terror. Sometimes the anchor is not what holds you back, but what calls you forward. And in other moments, your anchor may be found in the quiet strength of a community that surrounds you. Find your anchor. During the hellscape that was my PGY1 year in Detroit, I received a call from my mom one afternoon, informing me that my 77-year-old grandfather was in a coma at Detroit Receiving. This is a huge urban hospital downtown, home to the Knife and Gun Club, because it is Detroit. He'd had a massive pontine stroke and was on life support. Francesco Alberga, my grandfather, was fearless in his youth, and maybe a little crazy too. I don't fall far from the tree. Anyway, he stowed away not once, not twice, but 3 times, yep, on an ocean liner. First of all, because he had no money, and secondly, because he wanted a better family, a better future for his family. If you knew my grandmother, you'd be like, oh yeah, I see why. But yeah, he got busted every time. Francesco was also unapologetically drafted into the Italian army. He abandoned his post one night in 1943 to see his only child, his new baby daughter, being born. I guess my grandfather didn't learn really good because he got court-martialed. So when my grandfather finally arrived in the States legitimately, he and his brothers set up a barber shop in the exclusive Statler Hotel in the middle of thriving downtown Detroit. This was like early 60s. He would cut hair for the mafiosos, scared me, and even had cut Jimmy Hoffa's hair, but he still doesn't know where the guy's been buried. He just barely survived the 1967 riots in Detroit, and after that, unfortunately, Detroit began to implode, the hotel folded, and the scenery changed. Then his brothers all died. Frank Alberga stayed in that same barbershop for 37 years till he perished. He had been my stalwart anchor for 27 years, and he also protected me from my grandmother who could wield a shoe. Just saying. Find your anchor. When the expectations, joys, and wonders of parenthood are excitedly anticipated, and the gossamer tether of life may break before you ever hold your wonderful, much anticipated tiny miracle, what remains is love. Love that endures beyond presence, beyond time, and that love becomes your anchor. Find your anchor. So, Cecile and Rob dated for 5 years. He was on the 5-decade college plan. So she bought her own engagement ring because I knew. We head to Arizona for our residency interview, and my residency interview, not his, and we had plans to tour the Grand Canyon. Rob had one job. All he had to do was carry this black bag. It was like a briefcase bag. And inside that black bag were his car keys, where we left his car at the airport, luggage keys for my luggage with my interview suit, a brand new Walkman. Yeah, that kind of dates me. I know, it's a Walkman. You guys don't even know what that is. And of course, the engagement ring. Naturally, he loses the black bag. So I had to chew my way through my suitcase like a rabid beaver so I could get my interview outfit. Next day, we stop for photos at the canyon. We step out of the running car and lock the doors, and ourselves out of a running car in the Grand Canyon. Yep, it's remote, it's December, it's nearing sunset, and we're stranded. Undeterred, I buy another ring because he's still the one. Wedding day, 98 degrees, no AC in the limo. My bridesmaid bails that day, probably because she saw the train wreck coming. Rob brawls with the photographer, which was delightful. And in a plot twist, my diabetic, hypertensive dad is actually quietly having a heart attack during the wedding. So I don't find that out until 48 hours later. I'm in London on the honeymoon, and my dad's in the ICU. Find an anchor, and then hit me in the head with it. For goodness sakes, somebody stop me. But no. There's more to that story, but that's after a few drinks. When you chart your odyssey across boundless seas and another vessel draws near, eager to join your voyage, together you slip away to the majestic mountains where hearts are merged in matrimony. This new ship, sturdy and resolute, is built to weather the fiercest gales. And at the helm of your craft, perhaps a four-legged captain, a furry beacon of boundless love, guiding you through tempests with unwavering devotion. In love, in loyalty, and shared purpose, you find your anchor, not in solitude, but in togetherness. And sometimes your anchor is a who, not a why, a person or persons, again, that pulls you forward with purpose. So find your anchor. Rochelle was a brilliant multilingual family medicine resident with unshakable faith. I was her program director and her travel companion on the infamous Quad Tour. This was a recruiting circuit that we did through the Midwest in about late November. A sleet storm cancels our flight home. We find ourselves on a midnight bus out of St. Louis. About an hour and a half into the journey, we're pulled over by the police because the driver of the bus, his logbook is really sketchy, and so now we're stranded in a sleet storm. 2 hours later, we're back where we started, which is St. Louis. There are no other buses for 36 hours, so we have a choice, and we had to be back, obviously. So I rented the only vehicle that was left, and this was like a 12-foot-long white van. Rochelle has no license because this is pre-9/11, where you didn't need all this stuff to get on a plane. But now I am driving this land yacht through a sleet storm on zero sleep. Honestly, I've never driven anything bigger than a tin can, and now I'm wrangling this Godzilla mobile. Meanwhile, Rochelle is tranquil, composed, and radiant. My sphincter is puckering as I clench the steering wheel, questioning all my life choices. And somewhere between that panic and that prayer and mile marker 72, her quiet faith actually became the catalyst for my own faith. Find your anchor. When you are given a rare chance to rest your sea-weary legs on a charming island vacation, and it's suddenly shattered by an errant life cyclone. You're cast adrift in unfamiliar waters. Your broken body lies incapacitated and in agony. Your mind might reel with fear and confusion, but undaunted, you hoist sail once more, leaving trauma astern. Through this tribulation, you forge a deeper bond with your patients. Your shared vulnerability weaves an even more profound thread of empathy. In suffering, you sometimes discover an anchor, not of steel, but of your soul. An empathy that steadies your course and deepens your calling. Find your anchor. 2 years ago, one last story, and then I'm done. 2 years ago, my sister and I took my mom to a neuropsychologist, Dr. Pippinger, for some cognitive testing. And the residents know the lovely conversations I have with my mom in the precepting room at times. Dr. Pippinger is a very steady, very sedate man. Nothing ruffles him. We're in the room with him as he reviews her chart, and he says to my mom, "Hey, it looks like you've had your gallbladder out." Now, I remember this because I was about 8 years old, and my dad was responsible for my sister and I. He was barely keeping us alive. Without missing a beat, my mom says, no, I didn't have it out. The surgeon took it out, he washed it, and then he put it back in. At that moment, my sister and I, we just exchanged this kind of look that says, "Did you bring the forks for our eyes?" Dr. Pippinger, unfazed. I'm convinced that man's probably doing Sudoku in the middle of a tornado. So he calmly asks my mom to clarify. Now, my mom gets a little flustered and she aspirates her own saliva. And she starts flopping around in her chair like a salmon on the beach. She's continually shouting at him, "Beat my back, try not to laugh. "Beat my back, I can't breathe." And she's like, just all over the room. My sister and I were just like in stunned silence. We're just standing there going, "Oh my gosh, we need to get out of here." Dr. Pippinger, meanwhile, is peaceful, trying to reassure her she is breathing because she's talking, she's screaming, and take a deep breath in through her nose, out through her mouth. And that was the day Dr. Pippinger earned sainthood in my book. So find your anchor. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed graduates, faculty, and cherished family, I'm going to stop being a windbag and navigate this vessel to port. Family medicine residents, you've graduated, you're at the helm of your own craft. You're ready to chart the vast seas of your careers, and I offer you one final reflection. You've weathered the tempests of training, sleepless nights, relentless diagnoses, especially if you have to precept with me, and the unyielding demands of healing. You've navigated the squalls of doubt. You've endured the gales of loss or injury to a loved one. You've left grief's waves to wash over your heart. You've disciplined your mind and your body to perfection in the pursuit of excellence. You've merged and formed alliances through marriage and friendships. And when an unexpected cyclone struck during a hard-earned respite or anticipated parenthood, leaving you broken in foreign waters, you learned to sail again, forging deeper empathy for those you serve. Your resilience honed through these personal odysseys has made you not just physicians, but it's not the trials of medicine that most imperil your steady course, but the tempests of existence. They're capricious, they're unrelenting, and they often are more formidable than any diagnosis. Yet you are not mere vessels adrift on merciless seas. You are fortified by anchors of kinship, camaraderie, family, many of whom sit in this very room. And should you falter, the faculty, steadfast beacons for the last 3 years that have illuminated your path, we stand ready to guide you during your darkest hours. So I leave you with an Irish blessing. This is an adaptation of an Irish blessing from a tall ship called the Pitcairn Castle from Nova Scotia. May the winds of fortune fill your sails, and the seas of life be kind and fair. With stars to guide and shores to hail, may joy and peace follow you there. Congratulations, class of 2025 Novant Health Family Medicine Resident Physicians.
graduation ceremonies, but I am reasonably sure that that's the first one I've ever heard the word sphincter and anchor used in the same speech.
Wait, I'm not fired.
No, not at all. All right, so thank you, Dr. Robey, for that remarkable speech, and also, quite honestly, the remarkable, you all have not seen her interact with residents and patients and know how beloved she is. I want to thank you for your humble leadership, your words today, and the many contributions to our residency team, and I'll remember that about searching for an anchor. So now, for the next few minutes, we're going to do some standing and sitting in unison, almost, but not quite enough to remind me of my military days. So at this point, I'm going to ask everyone up front to please stand up. I'm also going to ask for Cindy Perfera, the program coordinator, and all of the primary teaching faculty to come forward to help us hand out the graduation certificates, which I will do with our graduation speaker, Dr. Cecile Robey. I'm going to give them just a second. So graduates, as I call your name, please come forward to receive your certificate. So first, I would like to welcome Dr. Maddie Catrone Acamazo, one of our chief residents this last year, who will be joining Davidson Family Medicine in Davidson, North Carolina. Next, Dr. Lauren Griffin, who will be practicing at the University of Kansas Health Systems in Kansas City, Missouri. Dr. Andrew James, who will be completing a sports medicine fellowship at Cone Health in Greensboro, followed by joining a Novant Health affiliated practice at Carolina Family Practice and Sports Medicine in Holly Springs, North Carolina. Dr. Ola Kamianecki, who will be completing a sports medicine fellowship at the University of Nevada Sports Medicine in Reno, Nevada. I am pretty certain we didn't practice that. Next is Dr. Molly Lerner, who will be joining our NICS team at the Novant Health Huntersville Medical Center.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my. And finally, Dr. Emily Valentin Mendez, also one of our chief residents last year, who will be joining Novant Health Lakeside Family Physicians Prosperity Church in Charlotte. Now, everyone, please join me for another hearty round of applause for our 7th graduating class of the Novant Health Family Medicine Residency, the class of 2025. You may now all be seated. Next, I'll ask Dr. Kelly Lawrence, one of our associate program directors, to please come forward and render a blessing for our graduates.
Well, it's with truly mixed emotions that I get to be here and for the 7th time read this blessing that's been read at each of our graduations. So listen to the words, it's beautiful. I'm grateful to the Novant Health chaplain who helped us identify it as something that would send you off with beauty and with best wishes. A Blessing for a New Position by John O'Donohue. May your new work excite your heart, kindle in your mind a creativity to journey beyond the old limits of all that has become wearisome. May this work challenge you towards new frontiers that will emerge as you begin to approach them, calling forth from you the full force and depth of your undiscovered gifts. May the work fit the rhythms of your soul, enabling you to draw from the invisible new ideas and a vision that will inspire. Remember to be kind to those who work for you. Endeavor to remain aware of the quiet world that lies behind each face. Be fair in your expectations, compassionate in your criticism. May you have the grace of encouragement to awaken the gift in the other's heart, building in them the confidence to follow the call of their gift. May you come to know that work, which emerges from the mind of love, will have beauty and form. May this new work be worthy of the energy of your heart and the light of your thought. May your work assume a proper space in your life. Instead of owning or using you, may it challenge and refine you, bringing you every day further into the wonder of your own heart.
Thank you, Dr. Lawrence, for your words, and I do thank you for the example that you provide every day. There are few physician educators like you, and for the last nearly 11 years from me, I'm honored to get to call you a friend. And finally, please know that this concludes the formal portion of our graduation ceremony. We're going to be putting food in the back in a moment. I do invite you all to enjoy the wonderful cake and the food as it's been prepared. Please feel free to congratulate each member of this graduating class, take plenty of photos, and enjoy this beautiful, remarkable day. As I stated before, I truly feel fortunate to have had the opportunity to invest in each of you, however small, and I'm profoundly honored. Please accept a final congratulations and never forget that life is sweet. Congratulations to you all.